Okay, we're recording. Ready to start?
Yep.
Okay. Hey everyone, my name is Whitney, and welcome back to an episode of Spastic Chatter. Spastic Chatter is a platform meant to feature stories from those in the cerebral palsy community. And each week I will be getting together with individuals with CP, like myself, to have a kind of uncensored chat, if you will, about what it's really like to have this type of disability. So, for this episode, my guest is Tim Shin, and this week's episode is about finding employment as a person with a disability. And I thought this was a great topic to talk about with Tim, because Tim and I worked together for almost 3 years, and I just thought it would be a fitting topic because Tim is on the hunt for a job right now. So, but before we get into the topics, I'll let Tim introduce himself. So take it away, Tim.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Hi, my name's Tim. I'm. How do I start? Well, I've been in the advertising and marketing industry for about 5 years, and I first met Whitney almost 3 years ago when I started at Able Thrive, and I actually recently left Able Thrive late last month and have been looking for work ever since. But I have a really weird relationship with finding work, especially as someone with a disability. So I'm really excited to talk about it.
Awesome. So let's get into the topics, I guess. So, well, let's start with the resume, because that's pretty much that's one of the first steps of finding a job, is creating a resume. So let's start there. When do you disclose that you have a disability? Do you do it on your resume?
So this is a very interesting question for me, because in the beginning of my career, like as a professional, everyone told me to do it, and then I did for the first couple of years, and then like pretty much like so it's most like, for me it was like half and half. So the first couple of years I did, but the almost like second half I just took it off.
Did you notice a difference when you did put it on and when you didn't?
Well, see, here's the thing. Like, there are like a few other external factors that I had to like contend with, because you see, I wasn't always in marketing. The interesting thing is that I actually graduated college with a psychology degree. And then during my senior year, I realized that I didn't want to do psychology anymore. So I kind of switched to business and marketing. But like, I had very little experience in the field. So like, I don't know how much of like me being disabled had to do with me like not being able to find a job. I mean, at the time, it's been so long, but at the time, I just remember applying for internships and just like not getting them. But like, I mean, I have a couple stories, but I think my primary issue at the time was transportation, because even though like I was primarily looking for like remote positions, I was willing to go maybe like 20 to 30 minutes from where I was physically. But to answer your question, like, I would like to say yes or no, but I'm really not sure. Like, but like there have been like instances in which I feel like my disability was sort of like it was like a detriment or like
Yeah.
to the whole process. But I
Yeah.
can get into that later if you want.
Yeah. We'll get into the transportation issue and all that, and as the
Yeah,
interview goes on. But for me, like, my thing is that when I apply for jobs, I don't put, well, granted that my career and everything is disability related, but I don't put that I have a disability unless the job is in a disability related field.
yeah,
Does
yeah,
that make sense? And then, like, I don't know, I think it's kind of a, I don't know if you'd say if it's a catch 22, but I definitely feel it's kind of awkward when you go for an interview and you don't put that you have a disability, and then like we roll into the room,
yeah,
and like I feel like we have so much more to prove when we do things like that. But for me personally, I'm up for the challenge, because
yeah.
they
Mhm.
initially thought that the employer initially thought that I was capable of doing the job based off my resume, so my disability should not have an effect on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, like, even recently, like within the past like 2 years or so, like people that I've talked to, I don't know that many people in the disability community, but people that I talk to kind of share that same sentiment in that, like, if the person, if the recruiter like wanted to contact or like asked you to like potentially join the company based on your resume, then like unless your disability like would like have an effect on your work, uh so for me it probably won't, like then like what does my disability have to do with it?
Yeah, exactly.
And like actually I'm a I'm a I represent a a company that makes wheelchairs, and part of my job is I have to write blogs for them. And so one of the other like uh people, one of the other like reps, her name is I think it's Izzy, and she wrote an article on just getting like a job as a person with disability. And her whole thing is like, if you don't want your disability to be a factor, like her suggestion is to even put like, you know, when you go to apply for the position, you can just press decline to answer for everything,
Yeah.
like as opposed to just doing disability. Because if you just say decline to that, it's kind of like, yeah, so we kind of know that you have one because you said you answered everything
Yeah,
else.
because they add they
Yeah,
every application asks, do you have a disability or
yeah,
whatever.
right,
And I think I might be wrong. Don't hold this to me.
yeah,
I think some of those organizations get some kind of, I don't know if it's funding or what, for having employers with disabilities. I don't know if that's correct. That's just
yeah. I mean, I've heard that for a long time
what I've
too.
been told. What I've
Yeah,
been
me
told.
too, me too. Um, I've heard that exact thing, like in the past as well. I don't know if there's any truth to it, but like I've definitely heard that in
Yeah.
the past as well.
And I have you kind of getting like the disclosing disability, kind of, I thought made me think of a funny story. So like when I first graduated with my bachelor's degree, so it was like one of my very first job interviews. I applied for a position uh with it was like a day ad. It was
Okay.
for people with developmental disabilities.
Okay.
It was like a day ad, and I applied for like a desk job or something. It wasn't direct support or whatever. But the person doing the hiring called me and was like, we need a direct support person, and you'd be like perfect for the job. And of course, I put that I had a disability on the application because it was a disability related organization. And when I was on the phone with her, I was just very truthful with her. I was like, I don't think I can do a direct support professional because I have a physical disability myself. So putting me in charge of another person's physical care, I don't think I would be able to do it. And this lady, she was really sweet. I don't know what she was thinking, but she talked me into doing an interview anyways, thinking that there would be like a loophole behind it.
Yeah.
So I went into the interview because I had the mindset like any interview would, like, doing an interview would just make me better. It'd be practice for other interviews.
Right.
And so I went into the interview, and her initial response to my interview was, "You'd be perfect for the job, but we have clients that are like physically, you'd have to like reprimand them and stuff."
Yeah.
I was like, I told you on the phone that I can't do anything physical. I didn't like tell her this, but and then she was like hitting me up for motivational speaking and stuff like that. And like that's all like that's good. It's like I appreciated that. But that's not what I was there for. I wasn't there for an interview on motivational speaking. I was there for like a job, like an actual like job, not. So that's kind of a funny experience.
Well, I mean, I thankfully it worked out for you in a way, but like I mean, I was gonna talk about this later, but since you brought up disability, like I've had CP for my entire life. I had it ever since I was born, and like I didn't really look into my CP until I started Able Life almost like 3 years ago, and like I mean the general sentiment towards disability is like if you don't need to know about it, you don't really know. So in that way, it's kind of like, so I've made friends in the past couple of years. They were like, oh yeah. So I never really considered even the accessibility of some restaurants because until like I started hanging out with you, because some of these aren't really accessible. And then I was like, yeah, it's kind of like dealing with actual physical places and accessibility is like a big thing. But I noticed that like even within the disability community, like if you don't know people, it's really difficult to find work. Like
Within the disability community, I totally agree with that, because okay, I see it as once a person with a disability finds a job, they don't leave that. They pretty much they stay at that job for like a long period of time because it's so hard to find another job.
Yeah, like
Does that make sense?
Like I don't know if I wrote it in my like final words to Able Thrive, but like initially I read like I really want to continue working in the disability community. So like I think I had to take it out, but like my initial thing was like, if you have any possible openings in the disability community, please hit me up, because yeah, like it might not be the best pay, at least to start, but like at least like my disability won't like count against me, so like as
Yeah, you're
much as
using it as an
yeah.
asset. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like I would love to like continue to work in the field, but like it's tough because all the people that are there are already established as
exactly.
whatever the role that like, so like what am I supposed to do? Like wait for
Exactly.
them to leave or something? Like
Yeah, yeah. That's funny. Okay, so let's get into another topic. Um, well, let's just talk about. You brought up transportation. Like do you prefer? Sorry, so do you prefer remote work over going to physical, like an actual physical location?
so like I mean for me, like I don't need that many like accommodations. Like in my house, like I'm using a regular computer, a regular keyboard, like a regular screen. Like I'm not using anything special. Possibly the only thing I would need is like a raised desk or a table so I can fit
Yeah,
the chair under. But for me, like I don't need anything in particular, but I mean, I've always wanted to be part of an office environment just to see how it was. And I actually, my first internship out of college was like at this really small like roofing company. They needed like a marketing intern, and it was in a town like close to my school, which was still in Jersey, but it was near my school, and I came in like maybe maybe 3 or 4 times a week, but I ended up quitting because I remember like specifically I had to go to the bathroom one day, and their bathroom was too small for me to get into. So I had to go to like a barber shop down the street to use their bathroom. And I
yeah.
was like, yeah, like, I don't think this is gonna work. So
And employers don't think about that
yeah,
until they hire a person with a disability.
like it was a really small company. Like it
Yeah,
was literally the smallest place I'd ever seen, and yeah. But then like from then on, I worked for home. Like, dude, but like I would love to work like for a bigger company. Like I think like I think there's like a paint supply company. Like it's a really big like I think it's Benjamin Moore. So they're literally down the street from my house, and I've applied to them since I graduated college, and they just won't take my application for whatever reason.
oh,
And I think I've been like blacklisted by the company, but there are a few places like near-ish to me, but like at least in Jersey, we have this thing called Access Link, where if the place is in Jersey, you can you can take like an accessible bed to wherever you need to go. But the thing is, like, and my big issue with transportation, at least like pre like COVID, was like I'm very close to like the city of New York. So like if you drive maybe 15-20 minutes, you're already in the city.
yeah.
So a lot of the marketing and advertising jobs were in the city, and like I don't know if you've ever been to the East Coast, but like it's
No.
really difficult to navigate. Like I have a couple of friends in wheelchairs that do that, but like I've always been like really avoiding the city because like I have no sense of direction. I don't know where I'm going more than half the time,
Yeah,
and like I don't know how good the sidewalks are gonna be or whatever. Like it's just
exactly.
I mean like at some point you could just deal with it, but I've always been like averse to going into the city. It's just that in my field, like a lot of those opportunities are there.
Yeah, but you just have to get around. It's not the job that's hindering you. It's all the outside. It's all the outside features. That's kind of like me. Like I've done plenty of internships, and then I had a job for 6 months, and like for me it really depends on transportation, because like I worked at internships in like Corpus Christi, and Corpus Christi is a bigger town, and they have an amazing transportation system. So like I was able to use the bus to go to my internship. And so like and the bus came like every 30 minutes. So it was no problem. But when I graduated from my master's program, I took a job in a smaller city, and they had transportation, but it only came every hour, and it wasn't very reliable. And I would I'd have to sit on the side of the road and wave the bus down like a taxi. So like that's
right.
So like
that's pretty
yeah, so like that, just the anxiety of getting to work. Like I have really bad anxiety, so getting to work was very taxing on my like mental health, which in turn made me like physically exhausted. So by the time I got to work, I was already exhausted. So I don't know, that made me I figured that remote work would be the best for me, like at this point. And so I've been doing remote work with AprilStart for 3 years. And yeah, but I wouldn't say that I'd be opposed to going back to a physical location, but people just don't think about the, like, employers and people in general don't think about the setup it takes to like actually get to and from a job. And then, like you were saying, like going to the bathroom, it takes me, if I'm not familiar with the bathroom, it can take me up to like 20 minutes to go to the bathroom, and like it's just that extra physical like stress and anxiety of like having to do everything. I don't know.
I mean, thankfully for me, I think it just, I guess this comes with being like a guy. All I need is like one of those accessible bathrooms, and just use like a urinal, and I'll be good. But like I can imagine how stressful it is for you, especially with something that's unfamiliar.
So that was my dilemma with going to work. And I lasted about 6 months, and I was like, and then like there was some workplace anxiety along with it. So it wasn't just my disability. It was more, but it didn't help the situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the only sort of, again, I've only been in this like physical work situation once, but the only anxiety that I had was kind of just like social anxiety in the way that, am I going to be accepted by my peers or colleagues? And like everyone, especially at that, like my coworkers were really nice. They were around my age, and they were really helpful. But like, I think that's gonna be like something you're thinking about whether you have a disability or not. You just need to get used to it. If it's really stressful, you can find other ways. But generally, I think, for me, because I only have that singular experience, I don't know how to work. Like, so like I think working remotely is a lot harder for people who aren't familiar with it, as opposed to like a remote worker transitioning to in-person stuff.
Have you seen that? Well, I didn't mean to cut you off, but have you seen that meme going around like the for like the disability groups, like how they're like we've been wanting a remote job for years, and this COVID-19 comes, and suddenly all these remote jobs pop up, and the disability communities wanted remote jobs for years.
I haven't seen it, but like if that is very funny and very true. It's been a sort of thing. Um, even in the past couple of weeks when I've been looking for work, it's like all these gigs say remote options available, and it says temporary due to COVID-19.
Yeah, so they're temporary.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, let's see if we have um okay, here's a good one for you to answer. Why do you think employers should hire people with disabilities?
Um. Uh. See, I remember when we were back at Able5, we were part of this thing called the National Disability Employment something month, and
Yeah.
like they brought up a lot of like good points that we have a different perspective, and like and like all these things, but like yeah, like for me, it's kind of like um I mean, yeah, I can only speak from my experience, but
Yeah.
it's like as far as I'm concerned, I'm basically just like any other employee. Yeah, like
Exactly.
if you wanted to tell me I have a good perspective, sure, but like I am someone who needs a job, and I happen to be
Everyone has,
in a chair.
in my opinion, everyone has a unique perspective. Like, and I saw the. I'm going back to what you're talking about. They were. I had some concerns about the about their about their points they made, because it was like I saw one company were like was like, well, people with disabilities are good for morale. Like, are you serious? I'm like, we're good for morale. Like, we put a we put a smile on your face. That's
But,
no.
like at the end of the day, uh, like I have a job.
Yeah,
I
like
don't. Yeah,
my personality has nothing to do with my disability. Like yeah, yeah. No, I take that back. Well, I'm very like my I guess you could say our disability made us like stronger, whatever. If you want to make that, if you want to make that, if you want to make that point. But then I see the other side of it, where my personality and the fact that I'm good for morale really has nothing to do with the fact that I use a wheelchair.
yeah. I mean, it may be due to your personality or how you or something like that, but like I I don't think the chair itself is gonna like be like a booster for like happiness or something.
Yeah, exactly. But I do on another to make another point. I think organizations need to have like trainings in like they and like I think they need to have trainings and meetings on how to on how on diversity as a whole, and like people with disabilities, and how to and how to interact with them, and how we're just people. We're not anything to like go above and beyond for, and like or you know what I mean? Like we're human beings, and like I think it's good. I think it's good for to have presentations on like the ADA and like reasonable accommodations
Yeah,
for for uh for for your workers with disabilities, just so that the organization is educated.
yeah. I
Does
mean,
that make
like,
sense?
yeah, because there are people with certain disabilities that might not have the like, even like the ability to move around as freely as we do, or like, uh, just people need a variety of different things, and
Yeah.
although you can't really account for everything at any given time, I think it's just so that everyone sort of has a like a foundational understanding of, okay, what this is how you should approach someone with a mobility aid, or
Yeah.
who has autism or something like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um.
think that would be helpful just for the workforce as a whole, but
Yeah.
that's just me.
And then one last thing that or one of the last things that I would like to say is that when it comes to or getting accommodations,
Hmm?
it's all it's all about it's all about it's all about advocating for yourself for reasonable accommodations, because technically your employer doesn't have to go out of their way to ensure that the accommodations are there for you. You have to advocate for yourself to make sure the accommodations are there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, and something that I learned in college, or that was made clear to me in college, was like the week before I started at my university, or like a month before I started the university, the the head of the disability services building, she was like, if you don't tell me that you need something, I'm not gonna give it to you. You gotta tell me.
Exactly.
So like, I mean, like, universities have like thousands upon thousands of students, and like the, the, the idea is kind of like taking ownership of yourself in the way that like your parents or your guardians are probably not going to be there for you advocating on your behalf, and even if they want to, like, universities and jobs should defer to the actual person that's either
Yeah.
like the employee or the student. So
The employee's not gonna talk to your parents.
yeah,
Like, or your or your or your caretaker.
yeah,
Like,
it's like, what the hell, man? You're the one that applied for this job. The
yeah,
least you can do is like speak up for yourself.
exactly.
Um,
So before we close out, do you have any advice for other other people with disabilities, other people in general about finding employment, looking for jobs?
um, yeah. So like, I mean, as early as like 2 months ago, I'd say get an internship, but that might be a little hard with the virus going around. But generally, like, I mean, I only have like knowledge of like the business side of things, but I would really suggest in like learning like a hard skill in terms of like whatever your field is. So to give an example, like for me, like it could be like learning a platform like Salesforce, or like if you go into programming, learning different programming languages. But like, I mean, you can get certificates online. Even just learning really like high level like Excel, you can get pretty good jobs with that. But like, I mean, all this to say, like, like like be good at something so much so that like the employer will regret hiring or regret not hiring you.
Yeah. The one advice that I can think of is or I can think of two advices, two tips off the top of my head. One is to if you're having problems finding a job, you can volunteer to gain those skills. And like for the job I have currently, I started as a volunteer
Yeah.
and then I worked my way up. So and volunteering just gives you more it gives you more of a it gives you more experiences, more skills you can learn, more things you can put on your resume.
Yeah.
And then
And the one thing I'd add too, like if actually you reminded me with the volunteering thing, a lot of a lot of industries, if you can have like a portfolio, for instance, like Whitney, I know that like you have done a lot in terms of writing, you could put that on like a website. And for me, like I could make like a marketing portfolio, and like it's a bit easier like if you're like in graphic design, so you can just post things that you've done for people. But like if you have the means and you can make free websites soon, just like this is a free opportunity for you to be able to show your prospective employer, yeah, this is what I can do. This is the little thing I made for myself. If you want me to apply these skills to your business, yeah,
yeah.
here's my proof of concept. This is what I can do. If you want this at your business, like hire me and we can talk about it.
Yeah, just a way to highlight your work that you're proud of.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like your resume and your cover letter, it's gonna tell them a good deal about you. But at the end of the day, they're gonna want like proof. Like, okay, can you make social media posts? Can you write like a blog or two about whatever thing, or like can you do X thing needed for the company? Do you have proof of that? Can I see it? Show me. Here, I'll
Yeah,
give you this
exactly.
website that I made, and yeah.
And I have two more things to talk about.
Okay.
And then my last piece of advice is do not get discouraged. Like finding a job is a long can be a long process for anyone. And make sure the job fits you and don't just jump at at I was gonna say don't jump at every opportunity just because you want a job. Make sure that the job is fit for you.
Yeah.
And then um do you want to tell people what you do for Quantum really fast?
Oh yeah. So I
So
alluded to
you are technically employed at the
yeah.
moment.
I think I have one more month on my contract pending extension, pending an extension. But currently, I'm a brand ambassador for Quantum Rehab. So like, I think I think maybe 5 or 6 months ago, I entered this contest to win a uh, wheelchair from Quantum, and I, along with like 5 other people, uh, won a wheelchair. And part of, uh, I mean, this whole thing is voluntary, but like part of my job is to highlight highlight how the chair helps me in my daily life. So the primary feature of this chair is something called eye level, where I can basically raise the chair up like 1 foot above like my height normally, and it helps me like take things off of shelves, off of my refrigerator, and like I just have to like showcase that in pictures, and at the end of every month I need to write a blog about like whatever I want to relating to disability. Like last year I wrote about like disability portrayals in a TV show, just anything related to disability. But technically I am a brand ambassador for Quantum, and they've been really great, but I am looking for either more fulfilling part-time or full-time work, but I would love to continue to work with Quantum in the future, hopefully as an employee and not just like a brand ambassador sort of capacity. But yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so thanks, Tim, for talking with me about finding employment as a person with a disability. How can people follow you on social media?
So yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at TIMJSHI. We'll probably put it in the show notes or something. It's just
I'll put it in the comments below.
It's just like at Tim J Shed. It's on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Even though I don't really update the Twitter that much, I am on Twitter, and the Facebook is my personal Facebook. I'm probably not gonna add you if I don't know who you are, but if you tell me like, oh, I'm a friend of Whitney's, there's a higher chance that I will say something. But like generally speaking, Instagram, if you want to follow me, all of my profiles are public, so feel free to follow me there. But it's just at Tim J Shed. It's basically my name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And thanks again for doing this.
No problem.
Just to close out and remind people, if you want to be featured on an episode of Spastic Chatter, there is an email address in the comments that you can send me an email, and we'll do an episode featuring your story.
Yeah. I'd love to be on here again. There's so many things I could talk about with you, like dating, and so many things.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for watching, and tune in next week for the new episode. Bye.
Bye.
Hold on.